Maximum Performance webinar series. As many of you know, we kicked off this program last October as a series with the intent of creating a community of learning and development with more mortgage and real estate professionals who are committed to investing their time and energy into growing their business. And today's program is not a stranger to this audience, but if this is the first time you've been signing on to one of these series of programs, I want to introduce our presenter for today is Mr. Brad Korn. He's one of our senior coaches, has been with the Maximum Acceleration team since back in mid-2007, was one of the first coaches who came on board. Part of the reason that I've always enjoyed working with Brad so much is not only is he an awesome presenter, coach, and trainer, he also has is notorious for being one of the top producing real estate agents in the United States as well. His team and he have produced well over 100 sales transactions pretty much every year the last 15 years in a row. Do the math on that. That's quite a bit of volume and activity for a typical agent. And in addition to all that, he's a wonderful presenter and trainer. He's a master trainer for the Keller Williams Network. Is also runs a top Keller Williams office in the Kansas City metro area. And what he's going to share with you today is his mortgageized version of what he did to become such a strong performer as a real estate agent. So with that in mind, Mr. Brad, I'm going to let you kind of take the reins. I'm going to push this over to you if you're ready to accept the keys on today's program.
Bring it on.
And take it and run with it, my friend.
All right. Make sure I get the right screen showing up here. You got me on the right. Am I on the right screen, Eric?
Yep, you are.
Perfect. Okay, guys, congratulations for taking time out of your schedule to join us today. It truly is my privilege to hang around really smart people for the next hour. You guys are some of the smartest originators in the business. And we might even have some realtors online. I don't know if you guys invited any realtor friends. But, yeah, I'm real excited about sharing this information with you guys today. It really, truly is the reason we sell 100 houses a year, every year, year in, year out, market up, market down. And, you know, being in the Keller Williams system around Gary Keller, who does a lot of research with top agents, I will tell you that your database is a gold mine. Now, what's so cool about talking to loan originators and top loan originators is you guys really, truly have the opportunity to double up on what I do. One of the things when I coach loan officers, it's not only working your own database and turning it into a gold mine, you get to work every realtor's database that you come in contact with. And literally, I have coached people. I don't know if very many people know Jeremy Forcier out in California, several other loan originators. Jeremy, we actually coached him to get the realtors to give him their database, and then he'd stay in touch with them. Man, you want to talk about locking up business. So that's the kind of stuff we're going to talk about today. And really what we're going to talk about really, truly today and delve in a little deeper topic-wise is the automation process. Because I live with a rule of thumb that I created myself, and I've lived by this well, I've lived with it my whole life. I actually just singled it out into a law that I live by, and that is if I have to remember to do it, it's not going to happen. Okay? You guys have a lot of stuff coming at you all day, every day. Our business is never the same, and if we have to remember to pick up the phone and call somebody that we met 3 months ago, it is not going to happen. And I will tell you, we are in a new world of marketing, and it's gone back to the personal relationship. This mass, easy stuff just doesn't work like it used to. In fact, there's my second law that I live by that I came up with. And I want you guys to write this one down. If it's easy, it will not work. Now, what I really want to tell you on that is, if it's something really easy to do, like write a check to get on a back page of a magazine with a realtor, or to write a check to do a mass mailing, or to write a check to go to some lead generation website, it will work. Mass marketing will get you like a 50-to-1 return. It's about a 1% to 2% return, but it won't work as well as you had hoped it would. So I live by that rule that if it's easy, it won't work. So because I'm going to share some stuff with you that might not be real easy, I will guarantee you this. It is simple. It is so simple, it's sick. So what we're going to do is figure out, I'm going to share with you guys how I automated this simple process so I don't have to remember to do anything, yet I get to play in the very personal touch world and capitalize on it. I'm going to show you just how much more business you'll get by putting in these automated plans. Are you guys excited? I hope I got you guys all rocking and rolling here. All right, so, okay, let's see. Somebody just said the slide that says people working with. Yeah, we are right where you're supposed to be, Walt. You're right where you're supposed to be. So people do like working with people they know, like, and trust. And if you want to get a better return on your investment in what you're doing out there, trying to find your next piece of business and your next loan app, whatever, what you want to really start focusing on is start focusing on touching people more directly, being more personable. And I know this isn't fun for a lot of loan officers. I mean, you know, these realtors, we're crazy over here. It's like I came over to the other side of the fence to hang out with you guys for a little while just to confirm just how crazy your local realtors are. I mean, we've got the personality types where we're bouncing off the wall talking to everybody. Most loan officers that I meet like working in the office where they don't have to deal with a lot of people. Now, I'm not classifying all of you. I know some of you do like people. But I would bet a lot of you don't necessarily like all this babysitting, hand-holding, all that stuff. So here's the coolest part about today. I'm going to show you how to automate the personal touch and really, truly start capitalizing on what you're doing. And here's the cool part. You don't have to become best friends with everybody. It's just part of a system that allows you to get that personal touch in there and really do, I mean, by taking good notes and stuff like that in your contact management system, you'll know if they like dogs or horses or whatever, but it's not something you got to sit around and think about, okay? So you guys, I kind of set the stage for where we're going with this today. And it's really about playing a numbers game, guys. You get higher conversion rates. If you convert leads better than you are right now, you don't have to get so many leads. Where what we do in our mind is let me go get in front of as many realtors as I can or as many financial planners, or I'm going to do a mass mailing to CPAs or whatever looking for business, and we're waiting for that one or two to shake out. Guys, if you take 100 people and you focus on them one-on-one and you really work on converting those 100 people into business, you'll actually have to have fewer leads, and it'll make you really good at conversion. And I'm going to give you some tips on that throughout the day too. But it really, truly is a massive numbers game. And this is the big one. This is the big bullet I want you guys to make a point next to, is consistency and frequency. It has to be consistent, and it has to be way more persistent than you've ever done it in the past. And that sounds hard. It's not. It's simple. It's not easy to stay consistent and persistent and frequent, because if you have to remember to do it, it's probably not going to happen. Are you guys hanging with me so far? Am I am I the only one that's like this? Or give me a little, just post on there and say, yep, I'm right with you, Brad. Let me know you guys are on here, and we'll keep going. All right, so your lead generation goals must be more ambitious than your income goal, because a lot of times we are coming out of, and I see everybody saying, oh, yeah, you betcha. I see everybody really trying to go out and find the masses to shake out the few deals that we want to get every month. When in actuality, you know, here's the great thing, and I don't know if you guys know this, but in the National Association of Realtors, and because you are so closely attached to that whole piece of it, National Association of Realtors tracks that the average person moves every 10 years. So if I meet 100 people right now, personally meet, get in conversation, write them a handwritten note, and then stay consistently and persistently in touch with that person, 10 of them are going to do a loan app with you this year and buy a house. 10 of them are going to do a loan app next year and buy a house. 10 are going to do one the following year, 10 the following year, 10 the following year. So if you just added 100 people to your database every year for the next 10 years, how many transactions is that? Is it 10? No, it's 100. It's 100 transactions a year in 10 years just from 100 people a year. So we're going to actually talk about that. Okay, so the mind share. What we're going to talk about is really taking over the mind share for everybody in your marketplace. And this is the fun part. This is why I love working with Maximum Acceleration, It's why I love working with loan originators, because in real estate, I get to take over the real estate spot that anybody who's thinking about real estate will think of the Korn team or whatever. We're in Kansas City, the Korn team. You guys get to take over the entire money spot. And money spot might be, I got to do my taxes, I've got to get planned for my financial future, I want to, refinance my house. You guys get to take over the brain slot for everything to do with money. And what's so cool about that, you guys, is when you start focusing on relationships, which we're going to get into, how to really stay in touch with these people. When you start focusing on that, you get to take over a CPA's business, a financial planner's business, a realtor's business. I mean, you get to take over a lot of people's businesses. And when I say take over, I don't mean like some, dictator or whatever. I'm talking about you get to help them grow their business. And when you help them grow their business, because here's I'm going to let you in all a secret. The realtors that you guys are working so hard to get into business with aren't staying in touch with their clients. So I don't know why you guys are working so hard. And I know all of you right now, I just heard a bunch of people screaming, going, oh, man, that's it. I'm telling you, these realtors need help to stay in touch with their database. You guys are going out trying to get business from these guys, and they're not staying in touch with them any better than anybody else. So this is a great opportunity for you to share something with them that you learned today on how you can help them grow your business, because they're not doing it. They're not doing it. So basically, you're just going to get that spot in their brain for anything and everything that has to do with money, so that when these people are standing at church and somebody says, oh, man, our taxes just went up and our payment jumped up $20, the first person they think of is you guys. Now, that's going to happen if you go back a few slides to the bullet point I said you to make a mark next to. It's going to happen with consistency and frequency, and the frequency I'm going to talk about today is very, very persistent frequency, okay? So here's the key areas you guys need to focus on, and I want to tell you something. We're moving pretty fast here. I'm getting you a ton of information in the next 30 minutes left that I'm going to talk and then open it up for questions. But guys, I'm giving you a ton of information in a short little webinar here. I got to tell you, as a coach, you're not going to master anything on this call today. However, here's what I also don't want to happen. I don't want you to walk off the call just so jazzed and excited, and then by the end of the day, it's back to the norm. I want you to do something with this, a website that you can go to at the end of the webinar where you can have access to a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about for free. So here's some of the things that you need to focus on. Just remember, you're not going to master it on this call. You just need to hear the concept. Let me open your awareness level a little bit more about how these automated action plans can help you become a very personable person so you can change your business and get a lot more business from the same people, okay? So establish a database. You've got to have a contact management system, not just a Rolodex with people's names and numbers. You're going to want a system that will remind you to call somebody a week from now, 2 months from now, a year from now. You're going to want a system that will allow you to print some letters or send them to a mail house. However, anything that goes to a mail house is easy, and it's in bulk, which is easy. And remember what I said earlier, easy doesn't work as well as you'd hoped it would, okay? So really, truly, this is going to take a little more effort on your part, but you're just going to carve a little bit of time out of your schedule each day to personally touch 5 people a day. I'm like the 5 a day guy, if you've heard me in the past. It's just 5 people a day. If you do, if you do 5 people a day and personally touch just 5 people, have a new conversation, and if you wrote them a handwritten note, 5 handwritten notes, who can't contact 5 people and write 5 notes a day, right? That's 1,200 people every year. In 10 years, that's 12,000 people. Okay, 12,000 people in 10 years. How often did I say everybody moves? Guys, that's 1,200 loan apps a year, every year from that day forward. 1,200. Can you do 1,200 loan apps in a year? I mean, that's all you have to do is your 10-year plan. You're going to make a systematic personal contact. You're going to stay in touch with these people. It's going to be on autopilot so you don't have to think about it. We're going to cover that today. And then here's the key. We don't really get into this in detail, but guys, you got to deliver exceptional customer service when it happens, because I'm going to show you how you're going to use this system to leverage your business into 6 times more business from the same group of people. So whatever you're doing right now, you don't have to stop it. Keep doing what you're doing right now. The only thing you're going to add into the mix here is focusing on 5 people a day. Just 5 a day. And you're going to personally touch 5 a day. So your mass mailings will still go out. Everything's going to go out like you're going out right now. And what I basically consider those people as haven't met. You're going to get 1 or 2 or 3% of them to call you for information because your piece hit them at the right time on the right day, and they wanted to get some information from you, okay? So you're going to get 1 to 2 to 3% of those people to call you. Now, if you're mailing out to 1,000 people right now, and you're going to get 1 or 2 or 3, you're going to actually start to see the business that you might have right now, okay? But if you took 5 people a day and called 5 of those 1,000 people that you're mass marketing to and turned them into a personal relationship, guys, do that every single day without fail, and that's going to be, you can get those 1,000 people personally touched in 10 months. And then remember, 10 people, 20% of them are moving, or I guess it's about 10% now. Everybody's moving about every 10 years now versus 5 to 7. But so 5 people a day. How do you find the 5 people a day? Guys, I'm telling you, even for loan officers, I know if you're in the office all day long, you see at least 5 people from the time you leave your home until you get back home, until you wake up the next day. Whether it's at the gas station, whether it's at church, it's your neighbor, you're going to start to be aware of just how many people are not in your contact management system when you start focusing on 5 a day. But it's really, truly, every morning, first thing, before you turn on your computer screen, guys, if you have to tape a piece of paper over your computer screen or over your keyboard that says, just call 5, and you do that every single day when you leave the office, you put that on your keyboard, put it on your screen, and just call 5 people. That's all you have to do. And then write them a quick note, you know. Do that every single morning when you first sit down. So here's how you buy their brain cells. This is how you own the money spot of their brain. It's through different multiple mediums. Okay, I'm going to go on record here to say that I already know many of you love email. You love not getting it. You love these email drip campaigns, email newsletter things. That's fine. Those are all good because you're mass marketing it to people that you know. You've got their contact information. You've got their email address. You're going to keep getting 2 to 3% return on that. It's not that you stop doing that. But what you want to do is now move to a place where you are touching them a lot of different ways. You'll see right here, here's a sample of one of our persistent, like right after we meet somebody, this is the kind of stuff they get from us. They get a handwritten note. No business card. No business card? What? No logoed card? What are you talking about, Brad Korn? I'm talking about the very first time I meet somebody and I write them a note that says, hey, it was a pleasure meeting you today. It's easy to see why people like hanging around you because you're funny or you're smart or you're whatever. The note is about them. Just the first note. Okay, this is where people think I'm kind of contradicting all the marketing stuff we've learned all these years. Guys, you're going to have all the branded stuff that follows this first note. What I found personally is that by writing a handwritten note on a non-branded deal without my business card and without the P.S., who's the next person you know that's buying or selling a house so we can help them with their loan, rather than do all that on the very first note, just make the note about them. Let them know how awesome it is that you guys have crossed paths and you had a conversation on the phone or that you met somewhere. Everything else that follows can be all your branded stuff. And here's the cool part. When you write somebody a note, now I'm going to give you a challenge. Well, we're going to talk about the note here in a minute. But when you can actually take that note and really make it super powerful. I'm going to save that one because that's a good one. But we hit them with an email, then we hit them with a phone call, then we hit them with something in the mailbox, then we hit them back with an email, and then we hit them with a newsletter. It's got a lot of information. Podcast. Do you see this? It's see, touch, Here, I'm touching all the different senses. Now, until I can figure out how to do a scratch and sniff marketing piece, I'll get to the smell. I haven't quite figured out the smell yet. But once we do that, I'll let you guys know. But here's the thing about a handwritten note. Don't use the words I, me, or my. This is going to be a challenge, and I don't expect you guys to master this on the first try. Start writing notes with, it was a pleasure meeting you today. You're really awesome. Or just talk about you, they. Try to write your notes without the words I, me, or my on this very first note card, okay? Everything else after that can be back to normal. Hey, I'm looking forward to helping anybody you know that's doing a loan. That could be like down the road. The first note is really just about them. So showing you just real quickly, I'm not going to go through each of these letters, but I want to show you what that drip kind of looks like where we hit them with a letter or an email. We just mix it up. I would even challenge you guys to do all mail to begin with until you get in the habit of feeding your database 5 a day and touching them. Because the email is too easy. It's so easy. Easy doesn't work. Easy doesn't work like you thought it would. You guys are deleting emails in chunks. Well, so is everybody else. The realtors, when you send 200 newsletters out and you guys go home that night going, oh, honey, I did it today, man. I signed up for that newsletter program and 250 realtors got my newsletter today. Guys, my coaching clients track that stuff. You'll be lucky if 10 even saw the email. Okay, so it's not working. Again, you still send the newsletter so the 10 see it because one of those 10 may need your services. I'm not saying quit doing it, but what I am saying is those 250 people now get a personal phone call from you, or you figure out a way to get to know them or to meet them and say, hey, did you see that piece in that newsletter about how realtors could double their business this year? And they're like, what newsletter? Well, they deleted it, right? So you get to send it to them again, and then you get to call them again and say, did you find the piece I was talking about? Oh, yeah, I did. That was a good idea. So it starts getting into relationship with people. So here's just the first letter we send out. It's just, hey, it's a pleasure to know you, and we want to remind you that we're available for your real estate needs. See, now it's kicking in. It's all branded. This comes after the handwritten note. We just go through who our team is and how everybody does everything on our team. Okay, now you guys are going to laugh, but the second letter or email, depending on what we're doing, is puppies for sale. It's just a chicken soup from the soul story. So what's a chicken soup for the soul story have to do with real estate? Guys, here's what you see my logo at the top. One of the things that we add on some of these letters is P.S. If you have a favorite story you've seen that you would like us to share with our friends and family, please send it to us. And then we get to credit it to them, and then we get to add them to our drip. We do this so that they will post this stuff at work or whatever. They'll read this stuff once in a while. But I'm going to contradict myself on that and tell you don't worry about content because they really don't read it anyway. Who reads it is 1 out of 1,000. And a 1 or 2 or 3 out of 1,000 will read something, but a different 1, 2, or 3 will read the next one, and a different 1, 2, or 3 will read the next one. It's just who it sparks their interest or catches their eye, or you just caught them on a day when they're not doing anything. Most people are running 1,000 miles an hour. They're just like grabbing stuff and tossing it in the trash. So all of these touch pieces, I want you to understand the important part of this drip system is that it's just there to keep you linked to them until the next phone call. It is the personal touch, a personal message on social media that's going to get the piece. Here's a fruit medley pizza recipe. I mean, guys, I can laugh at my own stuff because I think it's stupid. But what it does is it keeps me in front of these people on a regular basis. We actually have our systems. If you have a contact management system that has a campaign manager or a plan manager or something where you can set up a series of events to happen, and you can tell it, I want this week to be an email, I want the next one to be a mailing, I want the next one to be a reminder to make a phone call, I want the next one to be a to-do. That is the ultimate contact management system. So on this particular deal, what is this? 28 days after this plan starts, this script pops up and it just tells me, here, make a call and say this. If I don't have to think about it, it's going to happen, okay? Because remember, I live by if I have to remember to do it, it's not going to happen. Here's one where we're just training them for referrals. You know, when you go to a great restaurant, you give a tip when a waiter or waitress does a good job. Well, our tip is your referrals, and it's just a picture of a $2 bill to grab their attention. What's RAS? Have you heard of your reticular activator system? The reticular activator system says as soon as you guys think about doing something financial, you're going to start seeing other people doing the same thing. In real estate, we say when you think about selling your house, you're going to all of a sudden see sellers everywhere. Week 7, after we meet somebody, they get something of value, something to keep around the house. And I just heard somebody laugh because they saw my corn cob letter opener for the Korn team. Ha ha. Got to have fun too, right? If you're not having fun, it's no fun. And then week 8 weeks after you've met me, as you guys can see from here, you've gotten something in the mail to stick on your refrigerator. You've had 2 phone calls, and you've either gotten a lot of mail, just some letters and stories, or it's been mail and email. It's just been a mix of stuff. But we've already talked to them twice in 8 weeks. And it's nothing simple. I mean, it's nothing complicated on these calls. Okay, so here's what you guys want to look at on your consistent touch. This is the first, that was the persistent one. It's 8 times in 8 weeks. That is what buys the brain cell. That is what moves you into the #1 position. And I'm going to show you something on that here in just a minute. Once you get to that #1 position, this is where a lot of people make the mistake of now staying in touch with them once a month. We call it the monthly mailer, or you put a realtor on a monthly mailer or something like that, your monthly newsletter, email newsletter. Guys, what happens is you lose ground and you start to slip back in their mind, and they don't remember you as the #1 spot. What you want to do then is get very consistent after that. And I'm going to suggest, based on studies of Gary Keller and the top real estate agents that make $1 million in commissions, which you guys can learn a lot from that group right there, is that if you stay in touch with them every 11 to 12 days, you will actually get more business from the same group of people, and you will stay in that #1 spot. And it's just a mix of the same stuff. Webinars, photos on Flickr, tagging them on social media, doing video emails, podcasts. Just mix it up. Come at them from every different angle you can think of. So here's our consistent touch. We send them a letter that just says, hey, we've got free moving boxes. You know, I just found a local warehouse that has moving boxes that they were throwing, or boxes they were throwing away. They just happen to be the perfect moving box size. We have another one. This letter actually goes out on week 2. It says, hey, we sincerely appreciate the opportunity to keep in touch with you. We have a series of true life stories and situations where we've helped people and a lot of other things that we're going to send you and want to stay in touch. So I've even set them up that I'm going to send them this stuff. You don't even have to do that. Here's some more stuff. Free moving truck, 101 ways to tell a kid you love them. Who cares if they have kids or not? Guys, content doesn't matter. You just get stuff going out every 11 to 12 days once you've written that first handwritten note, and they've gotten something from you every week for 8 weeks. You own that spot for the money spot. And anything, think about this. For 2 months after they meet you and you follow a plan like this, and it's all happening automatically so you don't have to think about it and you can go deal with your daily activities, if anybody mentions the word mortgage, you are the only and first person they're going to think of. I mean, it's free online qualification, just chicken soup from the soul, success stories. Here's a great one. Do you see that bottom one? Did anybody get that? 50 things you can do with Alberto VO5. That letter is actually one of our most popular letters that gets the most response when we send it out on our Lincoln, Nebraska team. I have a Korn team in Lincoln, Nebraska as well. We're with Remax over there. So if you're in Lincoln or you're in Kansas City, I hope you guys are going to reach out and touch me and get a hold of me and let's meet. But Alberto VO5, that one's one of our favorite letters. Okay, so Eric, we got about 10 minutes left. Am I good?
Yep.
All right, cool. So here's how this all works, guys. Look to the right here, to your, is it your right? Yeah, if you're looking at your screen, look to your right, the people you haven't met. Now, I'm going to challenge you that the people you haven't met are also people that you've met. If you look at your contact management system right now, and you can tell me that you have talked to every single past client and every single contact and every single realtor in your contact management system, and you've talked to them all in the last 2 or 3 weeks, you get to call them a Met. For everybody that you haven't talked to in the last 2 to 3 weeks, and that includes past clients that you've written loans for that have closed and bought properties. If you haven't talked to them in the last 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to challenge you to call them a haven't met again, because they have moved back out into the haven't met. Now, I know if I post this on there, how many of you have more haven't mets of people you know than mets that you know in your database and say, yep, I'm with you. We all have them, okay? So what we're going to do, and this is, I'm going to talk about a course that I'm making available for you guys, that we actually go into your database and we start with just 5 a day, and we work from the A to the Z. We're going to call everybody haven't mets, and I'm going to show you how to move them back to a met and get them on a program like this just by doing 5 a day. So that's just a course that I wrote for Keller Williams, and I've actually got it for the lender version, and you guys get to do it in half the time as real estate agents. But that will help you get your database under control and turn it into a database or into a gold mine. But I'm giving you the information right now that we teach in that course. But look at the left side. For somebody that you have a two-way conversation with, that you could actually write a note, which means, you know, if you're writing a handwritten note, what is, somebody post on there, what's the one thing I would need to have right now if I wrote somebody a note to get it to them? What do you think I'd probably have to get them that handwritten note? See if everybody can type real fast. It's their address. I mean, how many times do we talk to people and go, hey, what's your email? I'll send you some information, right? So you need to change the way you do things, guys. Change. You need their address and their phone number. In fact, I'm going to challenge you right now. You don't even need their email. Don't even ask for their email. Don't get their email first, because once they give you their email, they don't need to give you their address. By the way, thanks, Walt. You were really a fast typer there. I got you on there. So here's the thing. And Walt also posted a stamp and an address. Ooh, here's another cool thing. You want to talk about a very cost-effective marketing plan? If you're only meeting 5 people a day, you're only buying 5 stamps a day, okay? So at 5 stamps a day, it's going to take you a while before your postage bill even gets up to $200, $300. In fact, I already know what it is. I've done this, guys. I've done it for the last 7 years. It will take you 6 months if you do 5 a day every day. And I'm going to share a story with you here in a minute on what some of you will do and what hopefully most of you will do. But at 5 a day, you will not hit $400 in postage until about your 6th month, if you're doing 5 a day every day and you follow a plan like this. So in the real estate industry, what Gary Keller's research showed, that if I wanted to do 320 sales a year, there's a couple ways I can do it. I can go out and personally meet 1,920 people and put them on this 8x8 and 33 touch. Because see the ratio up there, 12 to 2. For every 12 people I put on this close personal touch, remember it's 2 phone calls in the first 8x8, and then it's 4 phone calls in the 33 touch and 4 social media touches in the 33 touch, and the rest of it's just letters and emails. So every month and a half we're touching them either on social media or making a phone call. 12 to 2 means for every 12 people I put on that plan, I will get 2 pieces of business. 1 will do business with me and 1 will refer me. If you look at the other side, it's a 50 to 1 ratio. By mailing out mass easy stuff, you get about a 1 to 2% return. Okay, you know what the difference is. Let me tell you exactly what that difference is. If you took 1,000 people on the 12 direct and 1,000 people on the 8x8, here's what it looks like. You will get 6 times more business out of the 8x8 from the same 1,000 people as if you just left them on the 12 direct. 50 to 1, 12 to 2. In fact, I think I'm talking to a bunch of loan officers. I was originators, I should say, and I think it's 8. I think it's 8 times more business. You guys are probably better at the math, but for some reason I came up with 6, and I did a little video for Keller Williams the other day, and I was thinking maybe it's 8 times more business. I'm not sure. So anyway, I think it's 6 times more business. Or look at the bottom, option 3. You can just meet 960 people and then keep your mass marketing going to, say, 8,000 people, and that'll eventually get you to 320 sales a year. 960 people, or 1,000, will take you 10 months if you focus on 5 a day, Monday through Friday, taking weekends off. How many of you can do that? I mean, seriously, 5 a day? This is crazy. Remember, I'm going to give you a site that you can go to get some of this information for free. experience the drip, and find out more about that class too if you're even interested in that. But for every 12 people, you're going to get, on that 8x8, you're going to get 2 pieces of business. For every 50 people, you're going to get 6 times more business if you put them on an 8x8 versus leaving them on the mass marketing. Here's why it works. When I say I'm going to list tennis shoes, tell me as many products as you can think of. Most people, 99% of the time, say Nike, Reebok, whatever. And then I say potato chips, they say Lay's, Doritos, whatever. And then I say toothpaste. Right now, toothpaste, guys, what brands? Colgate, Crest. A lot of you thought of that first. And then you hear Aquafresh, and then you hear whatever. You got to be the Nikes, the Lay's, and the Crest in these people's mind, and that's what this consistent, persistent drip will do. The hardest part about this system, I'll give you a perfect example. I had a coaching client in Dallas, Texas. He made calls for 4 to 6 hours a day. Now, this is somebody who didn't like people, so he was able to sit on the phone and make his calls as his system was turning. He fed it 5 a day every single day. Might have even done 10 a day. His first year in real estate, he did $5 million in sales in Dallas. His second year, he did $15 million in sales. But he did 5 a day every day, and whoever his computer told him he had to call that day, he made the call. Second example, I hate to use this as my example, but my brother is doing great in Lincoln, Nebraska. He's running our Korn team there. Does around $5 million in sales a year. He's one of their top agents. He started this 3 or 4 years ago, and he's been around 30 to 50 transactions a year. He doesn't do the 5 a day every day. He'll do it one day, like especially after he used to talk to his brother, Coach Korn, and I'd get on him, and he'd do it for a day or two, and then he'd not do it for a couple days, and he'd add a couple people, and then the next week he'd do it a couple days, and then other days not, and then pretty soon it wasn't happening. But he's built a good business by doing it inconsistently. Remember, it's consistency and frequency. So just really work on getting that consistent, persistent. Real quickly, I did it January 3rd is when I decided to do this plan. I bought into it. By July 3rd, I hadn't started it yet. I was still trying to figure out the perfect letter to mail out, or what was that going to look like, and I needed to find 33 things to send. Guys, I hadn't done anything. I got zip, nada, nothing. July 3rd, I made the decision that if I go to one more of these 8x8 and 33 touch classes and hear how simple 5 a day is, I'm just going to get out of the business. Well, I put that into place, and by March of 2004, doing 5 a day every day, we were at $50,000 in commissions from after 6 months of starting the 5 a day. Okay? Today it's 100 transactions. The phone just rings. In fact, the course, I named it Make the Phone Ring Again. So here's your suggestion. Here's what I'm going to help you guys get this into place. Okay? Design your plan on paper. What does it look like? Okay? And I'm going to give you a tip here. No more than 7 emails a year. Now, here's where people get confused. Well, I'm on an automatic monthly email newsletter or whatever. Fine, let it run, but I'm only going to give you credit for 7 of them, okay? So out of 33 things, you need to find, what, 26 more things to send out. Let the emails go. Guys, anything beyond 7 emails is actually worthless. It's probably even pushing it at 7. Another tip is the more personal the touch, the bigger return you're going to get out of it. You're going to amplify the results. It's that 12 to 2 versus a 50 to 1. Phone calls, drop-bys, everything amplifies your business tenfold. Guys, if you're trying to get a realtor's business, you don't pop in once and hand them a book and then expect them to throw you a bone, okay? What if you just take a targeted list? This is another thing I coach people on. Let's create a hit list of the top 10 most busiest realtors that you would love to do business with. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to focus on number 1 this month, or for this month and next month. And I want you to go out and find business. And I want you to send that business to that one realtor. Don't hand out 10 leads to 10 different realtors. Hand out 10 leads to one realtor that does 100 deals a year. Because then you can show them how smooth those 10 deals run. And you guys are probably going to have a couple of rough ones, right? So every time you get the opportunity with a big realtor and you have a little bit of a rough snag and it wasn't your fault, you just lost that realtor forever. Give them 10 deals. They won't even remember the 2 rough ones. They'll remember the 8 smooth ones, And then what happens is they start sending their business to you. Now you don't have to keep giving them all the leads. Now you give your next 10 leads 2 months from now to the number 2 realtor. The number 1 realtor's already given you business. It's their own business. These are the kind of things we coach people on. So here's a website. Write this down, makethephoneringagain.com. Makethephoneringagain.com. What you're going to find on that site, you do have to register. It's free. What's going to happen when you register is you're going to get to experience a drip system that I put all my business professionals on, okay? And it will just, your first letter is going to say, hey, it's great doing business with you. The Korn team works hard to find people that they can put their name behind. And then you get to experience the same 8x8 that we put everybody on. Now, you're going to get it in all email format only because as I started teaching this and getting thousands of people in a session, I couldn't, just mailing out 1,000 didn't make sense. But the thing is, the reason why the all email works for you guys is because it has extreme value. I'm sharing something with you that I mail out to my database, and it works at 100 times a year, pretty easy. The phone just rings. So I can email that to you because you're going to be able to copy and paste it into a document and mail it out. So make the phone ring again. The other thing that you're going to find on that website is you can actually just click on reserve a seat. If you think you'd be interested in that course, it's an 8-week course where we could take you through your database and reconnect, build your 8x8, and then build a 33 touch. We're going to do all that in 8 weeks. If you're just interested in it, just click that button and say, I'm interested. You're not committing anything. You're not going to have to put a credit card in. But when we get the date set up, you guys will have first shot because we can only fit like 100, 115 people in a webinar. You guys will get first shot at that before it sells out. Okay, so here's what a persistent drip looks like. 0 days after this plan starts in my contact management system, it pops up a reminder. It says, hey, did you send the handwritten note? And that will sit in my computer screen until I do it. 1 day after, a letter prints out, and that's that letter I showed you guys that just kind of told everybody what the team does. So I wrote the note, put it in the mail. The next day, another letter prints, and it's going to go in the mail, but it's going to be 2 to 3 days behind the handwritten note. 8 days later, another letter. 15 days later, another letter. Now, you can substitute some of these letters for email. I'm just going to challenge you to really touch and be involved in this piece when it's starting. And this looks crazy, but if you're just doing 5 a day, I'm telling you, it's not a big deal. All right, so the first step is to create your blank documents in your contact management system through your campaign manager. And this is like a whole nother really detailed course. We go through this in that whole other course. But really, here's the tips I'm going to give you. If you can open up a Word document, you can open up your contact manager and open up a document in your campaign manager or your plan manager or whatever they call it in the system you're using. Create neutral titles. Call it week 1 touch, week 2 touch, week 3 touch. The reason why is when you tell the computer to look for week 2 letter 14 days after the plan starts, I can actually go in and change the content without changing the title of the letter, and my plan keeps running seamlessly. Okay? I hope you guys all caught that. I may throw some content in there now. Let's just say you don't like the puppy dog story. Trust me, put it in there now. Get this plan started as soon as possible. And the more you see the puppy dog story and you hate it, the quicker you'll find something else to replace it. But if you wait to find something to replace it, you'll never send out the letter. All right? So this will help you double your business this year if you get this thing going. And set up the plan and those scheduled activities. You can just copy and paste all that content back and forth out of a website. It's not that difficult to do. Here's just a little bonus thing. Set up action plans for every checklist you have. Everything from your follow-up plans, from loan app to contract, contract to closing. Guys, don't put this in your brain yet. Okay, I know you're going to be excited when you see this stuff, but I want you to do the drip campaign first. Get the 8x8, the 33 touch, that persistent, consistent drip first. Once you figure out how to build campaigns and create these blank documents and keep the titles neutral, then you can go in and take your entire business. Guys, I have my entire life is on an action plan. My social media posts are on a plan that tells me with an email that comes to me that has a link to Facebook and says, post something on Facebook. I mean, that's just automatic. I don't have to think about it because I'll tell you what, if I have to think about posting on Facebook, it doesn't happen. If I can do it from my phone and take a picture and post it, that's about the only automatic thing I do with Facebook. After you create your action plan, here's another little bonus tip. And I know this is getting a little advanced, but this is the automated action part. When those campaigns are running, you need to make sure that when you're adding 5 a day that you remember who's on what, right? It can get really confusing pretty quick. One of my coaching clients actually did this all manually. And, I mean, I give credit to you guys because you can really think of numbers and systems and all that stuff. And I could not believe the system he was running with it, but it worked. His name was Brian. Anyway, but duplicate your, first of all, add one last step to every single automated action plan. Because remember, if it's easy, it's not going to work. Well, what happens when you create an action plan and it ends is that you forget who just went off, right? You'll forget who just went off the plan because you're adding 5 more people today. So there has to be one action step that says start the next plan. Another thing that I did, and this is taking it to a mastery level, is sometimes you get address, sometimes you only get email. The goal is to get all of them, okay? But start with mail and email, or mail and phone number first. What I did was I do the all mail plan first. Then you can usually copy or duplicate that plan, change it to all email, and then copy it again and mix it up with mail and email. And the ultimate goal is to get them on mail and email with just a couple of emails, but mostly mail and a lot of touches, mostly touches. What that does is it cuts your postage down, and it lets you keep mailing for more for that same $400. So you want to be smart, too. Another little bonus tip is we will show you how to build the letterhead into the letter. Man, I used to stick letterhead in my printer, and, you know, I said create blank documents and create the action plan. I used to have blank letters shooting out of my printer when I was doing this stuff. So it was just crazy because I hadn't had the content yet, and it was coming up with 33 things before I start the plan was nuts. I mean, I might as well get the plan going and then worry about the 33 things. So anyway, that's just like a powerful, quick overview. I saw some people post about the 8-week course and all that stuff. Remember, it's makethephoneringagain.com. Makethephoneringagain.com. You can get some free information there, and you can just reserve a seat, and you'll be one of the first to know when we release. I think we've got the date and all that stuff. We just have to send you guys the shopping cart and all that fun stuff. But we wanted to make sure that that was available for you guys for today's call. Eric? How'd I do on time?
Brad, thank you so much. You went a little bit longer than we originally planned on and agreed to, but guys, if you're as appreciative as I am, I was like, okay, we'll just let him run because he's pumping out a fire hose of really great information here, guys. A couple of key things that I want to wrap up with you guys as we move this through to action plan. So please don't jump off the call just yet, or if you're watching on video, hang with me for just a few more seconds. There's some really valuable stuff in here that I want you to make sure you catch on. Let me wrap up a couple of things. By the way, anybody who's posting in questions, those of you live on today's program, feel free to go ahead and post your questions onto the Q&A section. I'll make sure that I wrangle Brad in here and make sure he gets you followed up with any of these direct questions. If you're interested in finding out more about the 8-week course that Brad has available, and then he'll take you through step-by-step how to create all this stuff in your system, we'll be going from there a little bit further on. Secondly is make sure you post all those sections in the Q&A. Also want to make sure that you guys are aware, shortly after the close of the webinar today, as soon as the recording can be rendered and processed, it does take a couple of hours behind the scenes work to get that formatted properly for y'all, but as soon as we can, we'll get that posted and emailed out to everybody who's registered for today's call. Brad has been gracious enough to provide an outline for how to create your plan, your 8x8 and 33-touch warm-up plan, which is a free gift to all of you, whether you register for the 8-week course or not. The 8-week course will be kind of the web shop. He'll walk you through it step by step. This plan is, sort of the do-it-yourself version, the Lowe's Home Depot version. But watch for that program coming up. Watch for the information and resources that will be coming out in the next day or so as soon as we can get the video rendered and ready to be processed for you all. There'll be an email with a link to the recording video as well as to the free tools, the how to set up your 8x8 instructions that Brad's been gracious enough to provide. If you want more information about the 8-week Mastering Your Plan mastery course that Brad is also offering, We do have upcoming dates available on that. Brad and I actually finalized up the scheduling on it yesterday. I'll get to that in just a second. But the website to get access to or to pre-register and reserve your seat on that 8-week course is going to be available at the Make the Phone Ring again, and be watching some of the follow-up messaging for that as well. Also, if you like what you've heard today and you'd like to get some direct guidance on how to implement it, many of you are asking, I'm sure, how do we find out more about this whole coaching thing? What are the programs that are available? We have 3 levels of programming, from the group programs like the 8-week course that Brad is offering, group coaching and one-on-one coaching. And the best way we've found to help you really understand the true value of coaching and what it can do for your business is to actually experience it. So if you'd like to be able to take advantage of getting some direct guidance on how to implement the ideas from today with Brad or one of our other coaches, simply go to www.mxlcoach.com/strategy. You can sign up for one of our no-cost, no-obligation strategy sessions and get some really pointed guidance on how to make this work in your business. Or you're welcome to post your request for the Q&A in the Q&A section of this webinar platform if you're listening to this program live. These sessions are filled. We only have a handful of these available each week. Literally, it's based on the time that our coaches have available. They've allocated a couple hours a week for each coach, so we literally only have a small handful of these sessions available. They are scheduled on a first-come, first-served basis, especially if you'd like to get Brad's direct guidance. You'll want to make sure you go ahead and post your request for a strategy session in the Q&A section of this live webinar platform so that we can get those scheduled immediately. Our team will follow up and get a call out to you to get that scheduled. We'll need the best email or phone number to be able to reach you for scheduling. Please go ahead and give us that. When you request a strategy session, please go ahead and post the best phone number and email address to reach you so that our team can coordinate scheduling. Upcoming next week's webinar is going to be Social Media 2.0, Maximum Results in Minimum Time. VP of Search Engine Marketing from Best Rate Referrals, Mr. Mark Madsen, is a good friend of Maximum Acceleration, and will be joining us next week for a program on how to maximize your results with social media marketing and leveraging. In addition to that, if you were on last week's program, Greg Frost gave you an introduction to the principles of ethical influence. We've coordinated with Greg to offer a 6-week web shop coaching program. That program will be starting March 13th at 11 a.m. Central, 9 o'clock Pacific for those of you on the West Coast. That will be a 6-week series, 1 hour a week, every Wednesday morning at 11 Central, 9 Pacific, starting on March 13th. Brad's series with the Make the Phone Ring Again 8-part web shop series is going to be starting Monday, April 15th. It will be running at 10:30. You may have a bonus week or two in there if it conflicts with other speaking engagements if Brad's already on there, but you'll make sure that we'll get that answer in there. Those of you that are interested in more information about there's some questions being posted in the Q&A as I'm watching the 8-week course, some questions about investment, what kind of cost we're looking at for that 8-week program. Brad, I don't know if you've answered that directly or not. I think you are via Q&A. If you'd like more information, just go to the MakeThePhoneRingAgain.com website. Brad will help get you that information. I think we put it somewhere in the neighborhood of like $297 a month, I think is what we decided on, Brad.
Yeah, we're working to keep it right around that 400. It might be just a little more than that, 250, or yeah, it might be right around there, 200, 250 a month. But you're getting, you're basically getting 2 solid hours of this stuff every. What are we doing? We're doing 8 weeks, so you're getting 8 weeks.
Right. It's 8 weeks programming. Yeah, 8 hours of programming. Guys, look, your return on your investment, $500 invested for $50,000 in additional commissions. Brad's first 6 months experience with this when he first started doing this stuff and got it set up and running. I don't know where else you can get 100 times return on your investment. So just take a look at it. There's a lot of bonus materials that get along with that program as well. Check out the program. I think it'd be extremely valuable to you. I know that every client I've had who we've put through this program has gotten tremendous value out of it. All right, so the last thing that I wanted you all to hang around for, and the piece of this program that all of you need to make sure that you take is what I want you to do is pick one key idea from today's program. What was the one best everything you heard Brad share in this extremely valuable program. Bonus here is the action. The knowledge is not power, action is. A good friend and colleague of ours, the initial sponsor of our coaching program, Mr. Tim Brahim, was famous for saying that, look, it doesn't matter how great an idea is, if you don't use it, it's worthless. So our job as coaches is to help you put it in play. So what I want you to do is, after today's program, whether you're watching this on video or whether you're on the program live, you want to decide immediately, before you go on to anything else, before you open your email inbox, before you do anything else today, you need to decide what was the one most valuable thing you've heard in today's program. Number two, what action do you need to take to make that a part of your daily business? Maybe watch for the email, maybe post for that strategy session so that you can get the one-on-one support that you need to really get this thing rolling. Again, remember, just give us the number and email address, phone number, best number for our scheduling team to reach you and get something slotted, because they are filled on a first-come, first-served basis. Maybe it is going back and reviewing that one letter or the handwritten card. Maybe it's going out and buying a stack of blank note cards and putting them on your desk, starting each morning with 5 cards a day so you can start implementing the 5-a-day idea that Brad talked to you about. Whatever that first action is, decide what you need to do to implement this one key idea. The next step then is decide a specific target date. When do you want to have that action implemented? Make a promise and commitment to yourself. But more importantly, make a promise or commitment to somebody else. It's very easy to break the promises we make to ourselves. It's kind of like a jogging thing, right? You decide you want to lose some weight and you want to start a jogging program. You get up day 1, day 2, day 3, you do okay. Day 4 is tough. Day 5, it's nasty, it's wet, it's cold, it's yucky outside. You don't want to go jogging. So you roll over and go back to sleep. What if you had an accountability partner, a running buddy, who decided that they wanted to go jogging with you? Day 1, day 2, day 3 is pretty easy. Day 4 is tough. Day 5, it's wet, nasty, ugly, and cold outside. But you know your buddy's going to be on your doorstep at 5:30 in the morning to go jogging, and you get up and you do it anyway. How hard is it to break a promise to somebody else that you trust and respect, that you're going to feel guilty about not following through? And ask them to hold you accountable. If you want some help finding a good accountability partner, you're welcome to take advantage of our team, but that's not what this program is about. Those of you that have joined today's program and participated, I guarantee you, if you take these actions, you follow through, pick the one idea that you want to implement, you can go back to the recording and pick up idea. I mean, Brad just gave you a fire hose of information to drink from here. You can always go back and pick up idea 20 or 30 later off the video, right? Pick the one idea, what action do you need to take to make it a part of your daily business, when are you going to have that action implemented, and who are you going to ask to follow up and hold you accountable? If there's anything our team or I personally or the rest of our Maximum Acceleration coaches can do for you, please let us know. We're here to help. That's all that we're here to do, is to help you guys take your business to a completely different level. And the investment of your time is something that I want you to encourage and congratulate you all for taking. If there's, like I said, anything else we can do. I'm going to leave the webinar platform open for just a few more minutes here. For anybody who would like to go ahead and request one of those strategy sessions, please let us know you're interested in scheduling one of those strategy sessions. Post the best phone number and email address for our team to be able to reach out and get that scheduled with you. Otherwise, if you have other questions you'd like Brad to answer related to the topic or content of today's program, feel free to post those in the Q&A as well. And like I said, I'm going to leave the platform open for just a few more minutes here to be able to give you guys that opportunity to get those requests in. Otherwise, Mr. Brad, thank you again for joining us. Thank you all who attended for investing your time in today's program. I guarantee if you take these action steps that we've put on play here, that you will get results. You will see performance and increases in your business. That's the entire intent of this series. Hope to see you all on future issues. Mr. Brad, do you have any final comments or thoughts that you'd like to share with the audience today?
Actually, the only question I see, one question real quick, Eric, is when will it be available? Will you send out a notice to everybody that was registered to let them know when the recording is available?
Correct. As soon as it can be rendered. It does take, with this format, a little bit longer to get them registered other than what the iLink format provided, but
All right.
As soon as that video can be captured, rendered, and posted, we'll get that up for everybody.
Here's the last thing I'll give you for the ones that stayed behind. If you really just focus on 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day, and if you do reserve that seat, you will get to experience what that drip looks like. I'm going to tell you right now, there's not going to be anything exciting about it. It's just going to be a consistent, persistent staying in front of people. If you do this with just 10 realtors that you want to do business with, get off of trying to get their business or get a bone, and go get to know who they are. Just introduce yourself. Find out what groups they belong to. Show up at those things. Just slow down. Just slow down. You don't have to go get in front of 1,000 people today. Just do 5 a day every day. I'm telling you, it will change your business and your life, and you'll get off the roller coaster.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Brad, for your time. I really do. Every time I get to hear your program, I learn another little bit of information from you, and really, really do thank you so much for your willingness and your openness and sharing your ideas, concepts, and tools with everybody. For the rest of the audience, again, I'm going to leave the webinar platform open for just a few more minutes here, give you one final opportunity to go ahead and post in those requests for a one-on-one strategy session with Brad or any of our other coaches to work with you directly how to implement some of these concepts or ideas in your business. If you would like to take advantage of that strategy session offer, please go ahead and post so in the Q&A section. There is no cost or obligation for the program. It's simply the best way we've found to help you experience and understand the value of coaching, the investment of a short little bit of your time. You'll get a solid action plan of what to do to take your business to the next level. If you guys do want to go ahead and post that request in the Q&A, those are going to be the first group to get scheduled.